Hey guys, today we're going to be comparing the Wuben C2 with the Wuben L1. Both of these are similar sized flashlights, but there are some significant differences that you need to be aware of if you're deciding on getting either one of these. I got the C2 a long time ago. I've actually got a couple of these. The first one I got was back in 2022, I think about June or July 2022. It was one of the first Wuben flashlights I bought when I got back into this hobby. It's a 21700 cell light, similar to the L1, both 21700 cell flashlights. And the great thing about Wuben is that they include everything you need in the box. So for those of you who don't know too much about flashlights, this is a really good place to start off because the quality, in terms of the quality, the value for money, and everything that you get is fantastic. They include things like lanyard, USB-C charging cable. You also get a spare O-ring. You get the instruction manual as well, and with the L1 you actually get a separate holster on the side. So I'll just show you quickly what it looks like, a separate holster. I haven't really used them. I'm not a huge fan of holsters. I just prefer to put it in my pocket. In terms of the overall construction, you know, Wuben does a really good job at this price point. I mean, just have a look at that C2 here. There's no nicks or burrs at all. Finishing is absolutely flawless. Slightly glossy anodizing. Okay, so I find that it is a bit slippery around these smooth parts, but good thing is that they've included this deeper knurling so that you can have a decent grip on it, especially even with the tail cap. When you pull the light out of your pocket, it does stick out of your pocket a little bit, you're able to get a firm grip on it. Okay, if we look at the overall construction of the L1, you know, the same high quality design, smoother sort of anodizing as well on the light, and you don't really get that kind of knurling pattern that you do on the C2. I really like that Wuben have included this, this sort of knurling pattern, this checkered knurling pattern near the end of the flashlight. I wish they'd moved that up the battery tube as well. Would have been a little bit grippier. But yeah, you've got also quite an interesting design. The way that this is machined, it's got these little cutouts in the head, but also you can rotate. You can rotate the head, so you can have this one facing up, the main flood LED. I guess this is the less powerful LED, and then you've got the SST40 in there. This is like a high CRI LED in there. It doesn't produce as much light, but it's great, you know, uses less power, and it's better for color recognition as well. So if you look under the bezel, the hood of these two flashlights, you've got the SST40 in there, classic sort of LED paired with a smooth reflector, produces 2000 lumens and can throw over 300 meters, so perfect for spotting long distance sort of use. You've got this slight crenulation on the C2, but it's quite smooth here on the L1. You can't open up the bezel as well, so yeah, unless you've got some special tools to wrench it open, Wuben don't want you getting in there and voiding the warranty. On the side of the flashlight, you can see here you've got onboard USB-C charging. Okay, both these have USB-C charging, but the C2 has the ability to function as a power bank as well. So as you can see here, you've got that little USB port, and you connect that up to a phone or other device, even a low-powered device that you can use, like a light or something, a camping light that you can power off this flashlight, which is really quite amazing. Okay, when we look at the actual buttons of the flashlight as well, you'll notice with the C2, you've only got one button. So you've got this, got this basic one on the side. It's very easy to find in the dark because it protrudes out, and you can also click 3 times to get this sort of glowing feature. Okay, I tend to just leave it off. It's no big deal. I keep this around the house. But with the L1, you can see, I'm just trying to put this port back in. With the L1, you can see here, there's actually a couple buttons. So that one, top button, activates that throwy LED. Okay, the long distance one, and this one here in the bottom activates this side LED. Okay, and the cool thing is that you can actually have them both on at the same time. Okay, so you know, for example, I don't know, you might want to look ahead of you, see what's in the distance, and be able to illuminate the ground as well to see where you're walking. So I think that's a really cool feature, and you don't see this rotating head design on many flashlights out there. They're normally quite specialized, smaller flashlights and headlamps, but I've never seen one of this sort of larger sort of sized one. I'm really impressed with Wuben's designs lately. They're taking a step to just be a bit more innovative with these designs, like the rotating head. They've also got sort of square shaped flashlights, slab flashlights that can fit more in your pocket easily, like flat in your pocket, but still be able to produce a very, very powerful beam and also hold more battery capacity as well. So the UI of the C2 is pretty basic. Switch the light on, click and hold to cycle through 4 different modes. You can double click while you're in any of those modes to go into turbo. Double press to get into strobe. You can actually double press to strobe, double press again to get into SOS. There's a few other features like clicking 3 times to get that blue breathing function as well. You can click 5 times to lock the flashlight out as well. Okay, but apart from that, that's it. It's very, very simple. Okay, in terms of the L1, you've got 2 buttons here, and it may look confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. You basically just click the top button once and click and hold to cycle through the different modes. At any point, you can double press and you can get access to turbo, or you can get access to turbo by double pressing from off. It remembers that last mode as well. Bottom button here activates this high CRI LED. Okay, and yeah, you sort of just click and hold as well to get through. There's only 3 modes on this bottom one. It's really impressive just how bright this side LED is as well. It has a TIR lens in there. I think the beam profile is also quite unique because this TIR lens produces a 180-degree beam, so you can see well into your peripherals, which is quite important. But the great thing, yeah, like I said before, you can have this light in your pocket with this LED facing forward. You can have it on the front of your bag. You know, you can even put this one facing forward, so you've got this spot beam. So it's quite versatile. In terms of which one you should get, I'd recommend the C2 if you're looking for a general purpose flashlight that you can use around the house. If you don't mind that it has more of a spot beam, a bit of a long distance beam, C2 is absolutely perfect. And yeah, I'd say it's more designed, especially in the higher modes, for long distance use. But you can use it as a walking light, a camping light, just on the lower modes. If you're using it on the higher modes up close, it's just going to be way too bright. That hotspot is very intense. It throws further than the L1 itself. Okay, to me, it almost looks a bit like a tactical flashlight. I wish it had a tactical button here on the back. But yeah, very versatile. I think this thing would also stand up better to drops because there's less moving parts with the L1. You've got that head, okay? The heat dissipation is also a lot better because the head is connected right down, right to the body, whereas the L1, the LEDs are connected to the head, but it doesn't really heat sink so well with the body, okay? So in terms of the L1, I'd recommend this if you're looking probably for the most versatile flashlight, if you're looking for something that has both the combination of throw and that flood LED in there. The head does get pretty hot after extended use, and I find that the heat doesn't dissipate all so well down the battery tube. It takes a little bit of time for it to actually travel down. Okay, so this one does dissipate heat a lot better, but at the same time, but the good thing is that Wuben do program their drivers to step down quickly so that there's no damage to the LEDs, anything like that. So without further ado, let's go to the beam shots and you can see how both of these perform together. Wuben C2, and I'll just go straight onto turbo. Really nice hot spot in the center that just blends out into the spill. Look at that. Just turn it off just to show you how dark it is out here. Can't see anything on the ground. Lots and lots of spill. Look at the way it just lights up those trees. Amazing. Just go through the different step modes. So that's the lowest mode. Can't really see it here on camera, just up the front. Hold down. Okay, so that's the fourth mode, fourth step mode, and that's still pretty bright. Really bright. And turbo just gives it that extra kick. Alright, I've got the L1 here and I'm just gonna put it straight onto the floody sort of TIR lens. I don't really see all too much on the ground, but if I step it up a bit, that's the second step. This is really makes for quite a good walking light. That second step, even the first step was good enough. Third step, look at that. It's amazing because you've got quite a large centralized hotspot, okay? But on the edges, the beam goes out to 180 degrees, so you can really see well into your peripherals. I think that's quite unique. Often you don't have that much spill on normal reflector flashlights, so this is a good sort of beam for walking around. Yeah, that first mode is not really too bright. You need to at least step it up to the second or the third, as you can see here, to get a decent amount of spill. Okay, just turn it off to show you. Okay. Can even hit that tree right in the center there. Not bad at all. So we'll go with the SST 40 now, the reflector beam, and there you go, that's the lowest mode. It's fairly low. As you can see, there's not as much spill. Ramp it up a bit. Second step. Now this is pretty good. I mean, this would serve quite well as a walking light. There's a little bit of a hot spot. Third step. Okay, so you've got basically 3 steps. And then you've got turbo, which gives it an extra little kick of power. Pretty similar to the C2, almost the Wuben C2, very similar. I think the C2 just throws that a little bit further. And it does step down a fair bit, but you can turn it off and double click again and get access to another run at turbo, which is very handy. The head is getting pretty warm. See if I can have both on at the same time. So have that top LED on, then we've got that bottom one. Oops. And we've got both on at the same time now. It's great. It's difficult to see, but you can see just on the floor here where I've got the bottom LED turned on, and then over here where I've got the main throwy LED on. So you've got both at the same time.